Simulation Football League 2020. We got number 1 Auburn at number 2 LSU. Got the makings to be a great game in the Bayou. In the booth with me today, I have Bird and Nick.
You got Bird here with you, ready to commentate this game. It's gonna be one heck of a game.
I do believe so. What about you, Nick? How do you feel about the game?
Honestly, this has to be the two best teams in the league. Sadly, we didn't get to see LSU play last week, so I'm ready to see what they got this week.
Yeah, we'll see if they earn that number 2 or not here. Just Sam Burdine back there with Auburn, and we got the shortest wide receiver in the league, Jake Cummins, back there for LSU.
What is he, 5'5"?
5'5" and bald as an eagle.
I'm ready to see. They said this man was a beast back in high school, which I don't see how he is being 5'5".
He actually played center on the basketball team, believe it or not, at 5'5".
Look, this might be just rumors, but I heard that in high school they called him Tripod.
I don't know about that. I haven't seen his penis, but I can say for one that I don't even know. He's going to play today. We'll see him first here. I think he's lined off to the right here.
At 5'5", you just do not have very good odds to catch on one of these SEC cornerbacks.
It is going to be difficult, but they say he's got the ups to do it. Playing center basketball back in high school, he has like a 4-foot vertical.
Well, that was a good pass there out to Elton Wegner to get this drive started off. And another great one to Terrace Marshall Jr., a 9-yard reception, which gets them the first down.
And if you haven't noticed, we have shortened the quarters down to 5 minutes, and it'll be that way from here on out, just to make it a little bit easier
Oh, and
on
he
us.
is sacked.
That's Chad Evans being sacked there for a loss of 4 by Big Cat Bryant.
With a name like Big Cat Bryant, you know you're going to do fantastic things. Or deal drugs.
That is the two options you got. Auburn here with lining up 4-3.
Second and long here. Let's see what this offense has got now in this long situation.
Evans under center. And he is hit as he throws.
But he does get the ball off. That'll leave him 3rd and 14. 3rd and long here. If you're LSU, what are you thinking?
You're thinking pass all day. Your running game hasn't started up yet. You've got a four-man line coming down on you. Oh, here's the pass.
And that was to Jake Cummins, our 5'5" receiver, for a 12-yard reception.
That doesn't quite get you the first down.
He is short.
He is short. 4th and 2. They'll just punt it away here. Auburn showing no pressure. They'll just let that one go long. That'll be back. They'll bring it out. 3:51 left in the first.
I'm ready to see Sam Burdine do what he did last week against Louisville and come out and just absolutely stomp this LSU defense running the ball.
We'll see if he can do it, and I think that's Buster Legleader there for the 5-yard reception. That'll leave him 2nd and 5.
Coming out of high school, Legleader was the 4th-ranked running back out of Alabama.
Well, Big Papa, let me just fact check you here.
There goes Sam Burdine on a 9-yard carry, getting Auburn the first down. They're now at about the 34-yard line.
I've done a little research, and Buster Legleader is a wide receiver from Alabama, ranked number 2.
Yes, whenever he got to Auburn, they switched him. He was so versatile in the backfield. They put him out wide in like a slot receiver's position.
Sam Burdine, another great run there, 15-yard rush to get another first down for Auburn. And Papa, I just don't think you know what you're talking about at the moment.
Okay, I read the name wrong, okay?
But
we're over it, all right?
no matter what,
Sam Burdine has more rushing yards than LSU. Let's get on that.
Auburn now at about the 50-yard line. This is a great drive looking for him right now. I expect him just to hand the ball off again.
I'm really surprised Sam Burdine is allowed on the field without permission. He normally has to ask if he can be home later than 6:30.
We're going to take a moment of silence for our fallen brother.
And we're back. Auburn here throws out wide and does get the reception to Dylan Nabinski. All right, Bo Nix drops back, throws it over center
It's completed.
to Eli Stove for 9 yards. That'll bring up second and short.
And you know, Bird, we didn't see much out of Eli Stove last week either.
Not very much, just a few receptions, but they just had the option of running Sam. I formation here. And they'll hand it off to Sam Burdine again. He breaks through one tackle, gets the first down, and absolutely
But he
plowed.
is stuffed. Look, driving down the field, Bo Nix is 4 for 4 for 40 some odd yards. He's definitely going to be an impact maker in this game today.
That is for sure. LSU's definitely going to have to stop up, try to defend this just to a field goal, and get back on the field and score. Sam Burdine getting the ball one more time, and he gets 1 yard.
Slow to get up right there. He should be able to shake it off. What are you thinking right here, Bird?
I'm thinking you throw over to that right side, cut inside, and then cut out. But he does hand it off. Does a little hurdle there for a nice little extra yardage. That's DJ Williams. But if LSU can stop him here and just keep him to the field goal, then that'll be good for LSU. Maybe get it to Jake Cummins out there. And he's that speed behind him. He may be short, but he's very speedy.
Well, this is the play to do it, and it looks like they have a first down. DJ Williams. I suppose Sam Burdine got a little injured on that play where he was slow to get up because he has not been back on the field.
Yeah, I'm not seeing him here. Hopefully he'll be back soon.
Bo Nix under center hands it off to DJ Williams for the 1 yard rushing touchdown.
And that'll put Auburn up with 51 seconds left in the quarter. Wide open hole there on the
I
left.
think that was actually just a play by Auburn taking Sam Burdine off the field to keep him out of injury risk with them being that close. They have the faith in their backup halfback to just go ahead and rush in and get that touchdown.
You may be right, but we'll be able to see on this next drive Auburn here to kick it off.
It's a deep kick.
He will bring it out, get a couple yards. He's knocked down about the 21-yard line. Auburn only allowing 22 yards, 4 yards average. LSU's definitely going to have to pick it up to win this game.
Absolutely. With only 48 seconds left in this first quarter, I think they're going to have to step it up here and get it out to Jake Cummins out there wide and just let him go.
Evans under center. Man in motion. He takes the snap. He drops back.
He's going to
He
keep it
decides
himself.
to keep it.
Almost breaks through that one tackle, gets 2 yards and fight for it. That'll bring up 2nd and 8. Evans drops back, throws it over right, and it is complete.
I believe that's
Elton Wegner, yeah, that is for 25 yards. That's his second reception on the day for 30 yards, averaging 15 yards a pass.
Look, I'll tell you, when you make your cuts and your turns and your route running as perfect as LSU has been known to do, it's very hard for a cornerback to stop anything you do.
And as true as that is, they'll have to keep it up to beat this #1 Auburn offense. They'll hand it off here. Gets a really nice gain, gets the first down. That's John Emery Jr. They may get one more play off here before the end of the first quarter.
Bert, is it just me or do those mascots look like the same exact tiger just in different jerseys?
Not sure their neck, but that's going to be the end of the first quarter. Auburn up 7.
So who do you like to win this game, just off what you've seen?
From what I've seen so far, LSU doesn't seem to be a match for this Auburn defense, and Auburn offense is just running all over LSU's defense. I formation here, he's going to hand it out right and get stuff there for about a gain of 1.
I completely agree with you. The mismatch today has been very one-sided, but LSU is making a drive down the field. They did do this last last drive and had to punt it away, but this one's looking real promising.
Gets a couple nice blocks there and almost gets down to the first down. Gets about 9 yards on the carry. It'd be 3rd and inches now. So that'll put them on about the 30.5-yard line. Hands it off.
Oh, it's a fumble on the play. I believe Auburn recovered it. And they do.
That has got to be a heartbreaker for LSU. You just, to beat a number 1 team like this, mistakes like that cannot happen. It's just something you have to avoid doing, and that may come back to haunt them later.
Oh, I completely agree. On the bright side, it looks like Auburn has Sam Burdine back on the field.
He'll fake the handoff there. Holds it for a really long time. Gets some really nice blocks and throws it long. Almost intercepted.
Pass broken up by LSU's defensive backs.
I formation again. Bo Nix drops back, throws it over center, and doesn't quite get the first down. And that's to Sam Burdine. He'll bring up 3rd and 1.
Bo Nix takes the snap, hands it to Sam Burdine. Sam Burdine has a hole across midfield for a 14-yard rush to about the 41-yard line.
And if LSU just keeps letting Sam run this football all over them, I think this is going to end up just like last week's game with Auburn and Louisville.
Yeah, and just, I don't know what you got to do, but teams have really got to start looking at run defense.
Bo Nix takes it himself. He's back across the 30.
Breaks a few tackles there for the 19-yard rush. And with a combination of Bo Nix and Sam Burdine, it's just hard to beat a team like this.
Look, I will say, most quarterbacks would have just slid down right there, but Bo Nix, he's a tough-nosed kind of player. He's not going to just go down. He's going to make you hit him. They hand the ball off to Burdine. Burdine picks up the first down. He's still going. He's past the 10 to about the 9-yard line.
Really nice blocks there again on that play, and Sam Burdine not doing this by himself. Gets his wide receivers just getting some really nice blocking.
That's Burdine's 6th carry this game for a total of 60 yards so far.
Yeah, can't ask for much better than that. Auburn 100% in the red zone.
Let's see if they hand it to him again.
And they do.
And he fights to about the 4-yard line.
I honestly don't know why you wouldn't hand the ball to Sam
it looks
Burdine.
like Burdine is down.
They have him in here.
They do not. They have the backup here.
DJ Williams will be taking his spot, and they'll give it to him. He hits an early cut there, gets 2 yards for it. If they don't have Sam Burdine in this game, that may be a real hurt for them. And there's Sam Burdine there.
He has bruised ribs.
Maybe he will return soon in this game.
Bo Nix under center, hands it off. Breaks 2 tackles. Touchdown, Auburn. DJ Williams, that's his 2nd rushing touchdown of the game. The only points either team has scored have been both Williams.
That is true, and I think both times Burdine's been out right at the end of the drive.
He gets them all the way down there and can't finish.
Just like in life.
And in disc golf,
14-0 now.
he's pretty terrible at finishing the putts.
That is true. 2:19 left in the half. Auburn will kick.
It has to be a good thing though if you're this Auburn head coach and you know that you can rely on your second string to get the job done when Sam isn't out there.
Their depth chart for halfbacks is definitely a good one. Every team strives to have a halfback depth chart like they do. All right, let's see if Jake Cummins will get the ball this time. Doesn't look like it. They're in I formation.
Doesn't appear that he's on the field. They hand the ball off to their halfback, who fights for about 7 yards. Bring up 2nd and 3.
2nd and 3, and always on these 2nd and shorts, I always like to see a long pass. Gives you an opportunity to do so, and then have have the, third down option to.
Ooh, Evans pulls it, runs around the edge, and gets absolutely demolished.
Big hit there on Evans. It looks like he's still in, though.
It's lucky he held on to it, Bird.
That is true. Running hurry up here. Hopefully,
if you're LSU, you have to score. Oh, but he is sacked for a loss of 6.
They're going to take a timeout, and it looks like LSU quarterback's a little shaken up from that last hit. And he's got to get over that if he wants to win this game. They're going to hike it back to him again. He's going to throw across center right field, and he'll get the first down.
Goes out of bounds.
That's Elton Wagner again for the 19-yard reception.
And you saw Jake Cummins there just follow him like a little puppy, like he wanted to pick up that ball after the play.
And you can see the size difference there of how much just shorter he is.
He kind of looks like a junior high football receiver trying to get out there and play with the big boys.
That is true. But he puts in the work. I'd love to see him get it a time or two here. That's Elton Wagner again.
He has 4 receptions for 72 yards this game already. That is the receiver they need to go to so far, but it's just not getting the job done.
No, and I think it's kind of what we were talking about earlier, finishing. Sam Burdine has a hard time doing. So does this LSU offense.
Well, it's not so much LSU's offense. It's really just Auburn's defense is just that fantastic this year. I mean, with that 4-3 that they're running so consistently and so strategically, it's just hard to get the ball in the end zone.
That is true, and they got a chance here. Being in the red zone, they'll hand it off, and he'll get a few yards. That's John Emery Jr. on the rush. That'll bring up 2nd and goal. They're tripping all on each other here. 58 seconds left in the half.
If you're LSU right now, all you want is to get 6 points on the board.
And almost gets it there to Jake Cummins, but he is surrounded by 4 defenders.
And
I feel like if you're
any type of advantage there.
Yeah, and I feel like if you're LSU, you can't settle for a field goal. Going down 14 in the half, it can't be good on you.
You absolutely cannot settle for a field goal with Auburn getting the ball back after half.
Yeah, but it looks like they will here.
I don't think this is the play, Bird. I think.
Well, Coach O's just thinking points on the board, come out after the half, strengthen your defense up, get them motivated, and get out there and score more points.
We'll see if they can get it done running the time off here.
The last thing you want to do is kick a field goal early and then leave a bunch of time for this Auburn offense who has just been so dynamic.
That is true, and with Bo Nix back there able to throw the long game, it'd be a dangerous game to leave a lot of time left on that.
Absolutely. Hopefully after halftime we'll see more of Sam Burdine with the injury that he has taken. Not looking too good.
But LSU does get some points on the board. Auburn 14, LSU 3, 6 seconds left in the first half. LSU will kick it off. I imagine they'll just keep it in the end zone and try to get one play off.
Here right now, if you're Auburn, you just got to kneel it and take it to the locker room. Take that 14-3 win on this half. Take it to the locker room. You get the ball back after halftime, and that's whenever you need to take your shots.
I'm never a fan of that. I always like to see the Hail Mary.
And that is Sam Burdine on the field running that ball all the way down to the 52-yard line where he is dropped after a 26-yard rush.
Well, it's good to see him back on the field. Hopefully after halftime, they'll go in and check out those ribs a little bit better. Hopefully, we'll see him some more.
Auburn 14 to LSU 3. This is your halftime presented by Nissan.
So what'd you see that half, Bird?
I saw LSU not finishing. I saw Sam Burdine absolutely ripping the field, and DJ Williams coming out and finishing for him.
Look, I'll tell you, if LSU wants to get back in this game, they have got to pass the ball to Jake Cummins. He's not the best sizable receiver they have, but he is definitely the playmaker on the team.
Yes, he's quick. He has excellent ability, and just an excellent player in total. You'll see here just the passing yards. It does look like LSU has more, but they're just not really getting it done.
And I think that's all because Auburn isn't relying on the pass. They don't have to pass the ball, so they're not going to.
That is true. With LSU having a turnover with that fumble, that really hurt them. They're going to have to come out of this halftime and play a whole different ball game.
The real difference I see here is in this rushing yards with Auburn having 125 at halftime and LSU only having 33.
Absolutely. Auburn and LSU's time of possession is not that big difference with just 16 seconds. But what really hurt LSU was that fumble recovered by Auburn.
Yeah.
And that has been your Nissan halftime report, and we will now kick off the third quarter. Auburn set back to take this ball. And they would just kneel it in the end zone. We would see them kick off this third quarter at the 25-yard line.
It appears that Sam Burdine is in the game, so that is a good sign. They hand it to him here. Easily picks up the first down. Almost gets to midfield at about the 45-yard line.
And if you look here, he's just hitting holes. It's really just, missed tackles. A lot of it just, people not being where they're supposed to be.
Oh, missed tackles or not. In the stats, it still says he has 109 rushing yards this game.
That is true.
And I mean, yes, LSU is missing tackles, but Sam Burdine also is aware of those tackles being missed and is taking advantage of every single one of them.
Absolutely. And that's Buster LeGleater on the reception there. That'll be for 12 yards. Get him past the 50.
Look, that's Bo Nix' 6 completion out of 7 attempts. Can't ask much more out of your quarterback than that.
Absolutely not. With about 95% completion, he'll hand it off here to Sam Burdine. He's making excellent cuts, and he'll get the first down once again.
It feels like Sam Burdine is just an automatic first down.
Like you give him the ball, and he's getting towards it.
Oh, absolutely. That's 10 rushes for 120 yards on the game.
Bo Nix dropped back here, throws it out far left. Nobody near him, but they swarm him pretty quick. That's Dylan Nabinski for 4 yards.
And as you saw last week, Bird, Nabinski absolutely was a deadly playmaker last week against Louisville.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely playmaker for Auburn. And that's what partially scored them 48 points for them.
Seth Williams with the screen. Only picks up about 2 yards. It's going to bring up 3rd and 4.
It'd be a nice hold here for LSU. Hold them to a field goal and then come back out and try to make some scores.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, and it's going to be close. It looks like they gave it to him. Tyler Fromm with the 5-yard reception.
Bird, honestly, this feels like a totally different Auburn offense from last week to this week.
Because we're relying a lot more on the run, whereas last week they were doing a lot more passing.
Well,
fantastic coverage by LSU right there. Being able to hold him. Yes, he caught the ball, but they held him to 0 yards.
Yeah, that was play recognition all day. The defense just read that play from the start and shut it down.
All right, bringing up 2nd and 10. It appears LSU has taken on the 4-3 defense as Auburn has. Let's see if that will help them out in the long run.
I would really like to see LSU stop Auburn to a field goal here, but it doesn't look
that's
like
John
that's gonna happen.
Samuel Schneckner getting it 1st and goal. 2 minutes, 55 seconds left in the third.
I believe that was his first reception of the game.
It absolutely was. Hadn't heard very much from him. LeGleater's out on injury. That'll be hurting for him. They're going to review this one just to make sure he was in.
And it appears that he was not in. Let's see what the call on the field will be.
Yeah, it doesn't look like he was in to me either. I couldn't tell if that back foot was in or not when he caught the ball or if it was up in the air mid-stride.
And the play is reversed, so take those 16 yards back off the board.
You got to get those toes down.
Yeah, with an experienced player like him, he should be able to put those toes down and keep that ball inside. That's the receiver's fault there.
Especially with the placement that Bo Nix... Oh, and he is sacked. That's a 7-yard loss.
That is Bo Nix' first sack of this season.
Yes, and I would like to I'd like to say, do you go for the field goal here, being this long, or you just go for it?
Well, with it being this long, you have to kick the field goal. It is just the third quarter. So you can always kick the field goal, get those 3 extra points, make another stop on defense like you just did, get the ball back, drive down and score.
They will kick the field goal here, and it will be good. Be Auburn 17, LSU 3. LSU's really going to have to change something up. This is something we've been repeating all game, and they just can't seem to get it done.
Well, they have to get the ball in the hands of their playmakers. And right now, with Auburn's defense covering up Jake Cummins, they're having to rely too heavily on handing the ball off.
LSU is just not showing up like I really expected them to and really wanted them to this week with them not playing last week. You would think that extra practice time would get them ready and prepared for this Auburn defense.
That is true, and he's just falling over there. I don't know what that was about. It was...
Well, Christian Tut came back, and it looked like Emery was going to break the tackle, but he just couldn't keep his footing.
That seems to be a common play this game with LSU.
Evans drops back, and he is sacked.
That's a hard sack there. It looked very painful. That's Darren Keena on the sack. Just gets around that line.
And LSU's right tackle just completely missed the block. Didn't even see the defensive end coming around. That's heartbreaking.
Absolutely. And something we haven't seen today is on the LSU side with Sam Burdine running, they do have Sean Glennon back there at linebacker. LSU throwing it really long this time and does complete
And
it.
it is too Jake Cummins, I do believe.
It absolutely is. And see, that is what I'm talking about. That is the playmaker. With even though he doesn't have the size advantage, he absolutely burnt that corner off the line to get down that field and catch that ball.
Absolutely, Nick. With just 2 receptions, he has 56 yards on the day. If you
Yeah.
can find a way to get the ball in his hands more, this score would be a lot closer.
I agree, and I think you really got to be eyeing him as a quarterback, and I think that's more the quarterback fault than anybody. Maybe coaching, maybe the play calls not being there, but I don't know. Seems like a vision problem to me. 1:30
Evans.
left in the third quarter.
A little screen play gets him out 5 yards, so it's going to be 3rd and 4. What play call do you go for right here, Nick?
Honestly, I think you go for just a quick, short play. Just eye that first down line and just get it there and then go on another drive.
And they will do just that to Jamar Chase again. He's having a hard time spreading his receivers out. It seems like each drive he's picking a receiver and he's sticking with them instead of spreading the field a little bit more and getting every receiver a catch.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, with last year being LSU's national championship run, Lamar Chase is used to getting the ball quite a bit. It hadn't happened for him today, and that could also be a key game changer.
Cummins
with the
only reception and absolutely gets laid out to the ground. That tripod wasn't very helpful there, Papa, now was it?
His feet leaving the ground on that one. Player's just standing there looking down upon him as he's in pain. But he does hold on to the ball. That'll bring up 2nd and 2 in this I formation. They'll hand it off. He gets a couple nice
fights
blocks.
for the first down. They're going to be down at about the 2-yard line.
I would really like
First
to see
and
LSU
goal.
score here.
Yeah, that'll make it that much closer. Only 1-score game if they can score here. But it looks like Auburn's stacking the box.
And it will be a touchdown LSU. That was really close. Davis Price had to fight to get into that end zone.
Absolutely, and rolling on top of an Auburn player to get inside there. You'll see he would have been down if it wasn't for that.
But that was very smart of him to recognize that was there and to lay on him and stretch out and get across that goal line.
Absolutely.
It is up and it is good. It is a 1-score game, 17-10.
With 20 seconds left here in the third, what do you do here if you are LSU?
Well, you just got to think, make the stop, make the stop, make the stop. Once you have the ball in your hands, you can do exactly what you just did. Throw a few short passes, hand the ball off, just make movement down the field, and points will come. But you cannot let Auburn score getting closer to the final quarter of this ball game.
Auburn takes it at the 25-yard line, and let's see if they keep it up with how they're doing and just handing the ball off to Sam.
Bo Nix is sacked for a loss of 4. He dropped back looking for the pass. It wasn't there. He decided that he was going to tuck and run, but just got caught up right there on the defensive tackle.
This LSU defense has given Bo Nix his first 2 sacks of the season. Something Louisville was not able to do last week.
Bo Nix is under center. It appears Sam Burdine is in the backfield.
They'll throw it out over center, and that'll be to Harold Joyner for 6 yards, bringing up 3rd and 8, and that'll be the end of the third quarter. Auburn 17, LSU 10. LSU seemed to get back in this game a little bit. Only 1 score down. It's anybody's game.
Absolutely. This LSU defense that third quarter looked a lot better than they did the first half, and I think going into halftime and going into that locker room, Coach
well, I'll tell
did
you,
something.
Coach O is not very happy right now. Being behind to Auburn, I understand Auburn is a fabulous football team, but when you win the national championship, the year after, you're expected to win almost all your games, and being down at the half is not looking good for them.
Absolutely. What LSU really needs here is a turnover. They should be looking for that interception. Like right there, he had a chance and just couldn't do it. That's Buster LeGleater. He's back in now.
Glad to see that he is all right and he is back in this game.
Gets a few yards there for him. We'll bring up 2nd and 7 with 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the game.
If you notice, they haven't really handed the ball to Sam Burdine this half.
Buster LeGleater there just on a standstill.
I'll tell you what that was. That was nerves. Not knowing where to go.
I'm agreeing with you there. I think he heard the footsteps and froze. Getting rushed. He will get it off.
A fantastic catch on the side by Seth Williams for 25 yards. Fantastic sight by Bo Nix and awesome composure to be able to stand in the pocket long enough to make that accurate throw, even though he knew he was about to get hit.
I feel like if Auburn can put one more on the board here, that'll just about seal the deal for the game. Bo Nix will hand it off to Sam Burdine here. He's tripped up and gets about 4 yards.
That's his first carry of the second half. With 120 yards the first half and only 4 this second half, those ribs must really be bothering him for them not to be giving him the ball. He is one of their dynamic playmakers.
I honestly think here, even if LSU just gets a field goal this drive, I feel like that is going to just about seal that game.
With being 150% effective in the red zone, I imagine they will. They'll get it out to Nabinski again for the 18 yards, getting really close to the goal.
He's about on the 2-yard line. I believe they're just going to hand it off to Sam Burdine and just walk it in.
Bo Nix and shotgun.
I don't see Sam Burdine in. Looks like DJ Williams lined up to the right there.
They may be scared to let him get out there and get injured again.
Or he may be having that problem finishing. 3 minutes left. They'll hold it. I imagine they'll hike it right at 2 seconds, just trying to run this time away. Got to be careful here not to make a mistake, though. Holding the ball this long, it gives the defense time to kind of read your play and may hurt you in the end.
They absolutely did not read that bird.
The 1-yard touchdown.
They did not read that bird.
And that'll put it up 24-10.
I believe that's going to be the ball game.
I agree.
It will.
With just how dominant Auburn's defense has been playing this game, it's going to be really hard for LSU to come back from that.
This does feel like a different Auburn, though. With Auburn last week putting up 48 points, and this week only putting 24 up with 2 minutes left in the fourth. This is just a different Auburn.
Well, it's two different caliber teams you're playing defensive-wise. Louisville's defense is just not as strong and stacked as LSU's is. So putting up 24 against LSU is really good numbers.
Yeah, and you also got to think the quarters are a little bit shorter. So back, last week you were playing an extra 2 quarters compared to this week.
That is true. That is true.
So the scores won't be quite as high. I can imagine there'll be a few more touchdowns if we were still doing 8 minutes.
Evans drops back, has all the time in the world, and he is sacked.
I think that sack right there put the game away, even if that touchdown did not.
And that is Big Cat Bryant. I'm telling you, these Auburn defensive linemen have been all over Evans today.
Any defensive lineman you see with that kind of back plate, you really have to be worried about.
He'll get it here again. Throws out far left, and that is incomplete. That'll bring up 4th and 16. That really, if the score didn't, that really puts the game away.
And it appears that LSU is going
That
to
is not the
punt.
play. I believe you have to go for this. You just have to, being down that much with only 2 minutes left. You have to go for that first down.
It's a good kick, taking about the 37.
It kind of shows me that LSU's head coach really doesn't have faith in their quarterback to get it done. Just wants to stop the bleeding here and get up out of here and get ready for next week.
Hand off to Sam Burdine. He fights for a 1-yard gain. LSU does take a timeout. They're hoping to stop him right here and get the ball back.
I think they're really looking for a turnover. If they could turn it over here, maybe do a pick 6 and then have a little onside kick go in their favor, it might be a different game. But I just don't see it happening.
Sam Burdine just rammed his head right into that defender's stomach. He really just said, "Get out of my way." And then he stiff arms the air there, but gets laid out by number 31.
Oh, that's going to be
Cameron
LSU's
Lewis.
final timeout. And it was the 2-minute drill.
Now formation here, they'll hand it off to Sam Burdine again. He'll get the first down and a little
that
more.
is pretty much going to seal things here today.
I believe if you're LSU now, you just kneel this ball here. Or maybe get one more play off and then kneel the ball.
I think Auburn's trying to get this extra score to just make them look good. I would be.
It appears Sam Burdine is out of the game again. DJ Williams will be the running back.
Bringing up 2nd and 2. 45 seconds left in the game. Formation once again. Sam Burdine back on the field.
I believe they're just going to get this last play of the game in here.
They really want him to get into the end zone.
Yeah, get him a touchdown. He hadn't had one all day. DJ Williams with all of them.
And when you have 160 yards off 16 rushes, you deserve a touchdown.
That is true, and they'll just kneel it here and walk away with the victory.
And that is your ball game.
Auburn 24, LSU 10. If you're LSU, you just got to walk away and get ready for next week.
Absolutely. And Auburn came out today and proved why they are number 1. Came out and shut that LSU team down.
Well, Auburn doesn't need to get complacent with where they are. Yes, they did just beat LSU, the number 2 team, but they don't need to hold themselves to that standard every week. They need to continue to push and fight and get better. Because if they keep getting better, they'll absolutely be a contender for this national championship.
Absolutely, and Auburn has a bye week next week. They have plenty of time to practice on for their week 4 against Ole Miss. And if you look, LSU plays at Ole Miss next week. That'll be a game to watch.
Oh, absolutely. With the games left this week, it'll be really entertaining. Maybe a possible switch around on some of the stats and rankings.
With last week, with all the upsets that did happen last week, it wouldn't be surprising to see another upset this week.
That's absolutely true. And that'll do us all for today. Auburn 24, LSU 10.
Absolutely.
We'll see y'all next week.